Sam Harborne is a guiding light in the self-improvement realm for men everywhere. With over 17,000 subscribers on YouTube, he is a force for good.
Oh, I'm 22 years old. It's too late, man. No, it's not, bro. It's never too late. I did a complete 180.
In this episode, Sam takes us on a captivating ride through his life, from overcoming challenges to embracing growth with open arms. You'll discover the secrets of living a life filled with purpose and passion, as Sam shares his insights and experiences. On top of that, we'll be uncovering untold stories on his serendipitous encounter with none other than Hamza Ahmed.
One of my very first clients on that platform was a guy named Hamza.
What are the top 3 lessons you learned from Hamza?
Wow.
Join us on a roller coaster of emotions, laughter, and wisdom as we explore what it truly means to become the best version of ourselves. Please welcome the Harbonator. Alright, well, Sam Harborne, welcome to the show. What's your background, man? And how are your teenage years like?
I believe to be one of the biggest sort of disadvantages you can have beginning your life as a man. Especially, you know, in a single mother household, because obviously you're lacking that masculine figure in your life. But I grew up quite introverted, maybe a little bit autistic as well, like slightly on the spectrum. I still don't know because I've not done a test. But I was a bit of a slow learner, you know, a bit slow to things, and I think that was kind of enough for me to end up in quite a negative feedback loop when I was younger. You know, like sort of not being quite up to date with like the trends. Like my friends are starting to get into like celebrities and like football, and I'm just like clueless to all this shit. And I feel like that got me kind of alienated very early on in my life, which put me in a pretty negative feedback loop, man. Pretty negative feedback loop. So then I just sort of turned to video games, which I had a very big inclination towards anyway. Ever since I was like 7 years old, you know, I was sort of glued in front of a screen playing GTA 3 on my PlayStation 2. But long story short, I feel like that negative feedback loop was very much so enough to get me off to a pretty rough start in life. You know, by the age I was like 15 or so, I had very crippling anxiety into depression, to the point where I didn't leave my house without having a panic attack. Like, you know, my mom would ask me, you know, go around to the corner store to go get some milk for me, literally a minute walk away. And it seemed like quite a mountainous task for me at that point. I'd end up having panic attacks just doing that. So about 15 to 22 years old was just that. It was like very much so like the struggler stage for me. I was really in the trenches, really struggling with a lot of things. But yeah, I guess I've had a pretty epic comeback story, which a lot of people find very inspiring, and I suppose I base my online presence around that now, and also just helping these guys who are in a similar situation to me a few years ago and in the trenches struggling. And I guess my sort of purpose in life right now is to sort of offer my hand down to those guys who are struggling like that, and to lift them up and show them what worked for me. You know, there's not a specific answer to these types of things, and so it's a very slow instilling of more positive beliefs, in my opinion, which will really make the difference for people. And I guess my job is to just show up every day for them and help to instill some more of those positive beliefs. You know,
Yeah,
that's like a quick speed run of my
yeah.
back.
No, it's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Could you share a moment you consider a turning point in your life where you went from, you know, being the panic attack anxiety kid locked in his bedroom playing video games to Harbonator and today?
Yeah, man. So I would say a big one was breaking up with my girlfriend. Obviously, you might be thinking like, well, Sam, you had crippling anxiety. How do you hold down a relationship? Well, it was an online relationship. It was my League of Legends girlfriend,
Mm.
which I don't recommend, entertaining e-girls when you're down bad, because they're pretty ruthless, guys. They're pretty ruthless, and you put your eggs in one basket when you're at a very turbulent stage in your life like that, and it might really fuck you up. Can I swear? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, man.
Perfect. Yeah, so that's good, because I'm a bit bad for playing.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah. So this girl, basically, we were dating for a while, and I had all my love goggles on, like, oh my god, I love her so much, and da da da. And then one day she wanted to start posting bikini photos on Instagram, like nothing like crazy or anything, but
Just exposing herself a bit.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And I wasn't very comfortable with that, so I sort of set the boundary there, like, no, I don't want you to do that. And within a few hours of me setting that boundary, we broke up. Like, it
Wow.
was just like, it's insane how quickly it fucking
Yeah.
escalated to that point. And it completely destroyed me, because once again, I didn't have multiple outlets for my fulfillment in life outside of like this relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that was a massive turning point for me, because that was like a make or break. That could have been enough to push people over the edge. I know it doesn't seem like much, but like at this point in my life, I was super down bad. Like, I never left the house, like playing video games 16 hours a day. I wouldn't even brush my teeth, man. It'd be like 2 weeks. 2 weeks would pass, and I wouldn't even brush my teeth. I genuinely didn't care if I was like dead or alive at
Wow.
that point. Seriously, it was really bad. So that was a make or break. With the support of my friend Yanis, shout out to Yanis, he sort of started pushing me down a much more positive path. He was like, you know what, Sam, like, it's time to get in the gym. It's time to lift some weights. Obviously, I had crippling anxiety, so I couldn't go to the gym. Or so I thought. So I bought some like free weights from Amazon and delivered them to my home, and I started doing these like just the most scuffed home workouts ever. Just so scuffed. I've got videos of me doing them. It's just so terrible. But that was a turning point for me. That was when I started to realize, like, okay, there's more to life than just like mindless indulging of shit. That I wasn't even aware of the idea of like development of self until I was about 22 years old, which is why I always say, like, I feel like my life started when I was 22 years old.
And how
Because
old are you now?
I'm 25 now.
Okay.
So I wasn't even conscious of my life until I was like 22, which is incredible, because there's guys who are 22 who are like, they might be in your comment section. They might be watching this right now and be thinking like, oh, I'm 22 years old. It's too late, man. No, it's not.
It's
No,
never
it's
too
not,
late.
bro. It's never too late. I did a complete 180 on my trajectory in life within a year and a half, 2 years. Like, my life I was crash landing into the pits of hell. And I somehow did a Aikido 180 and just completely switched it around. And yeah, just going back to my sort of presence online, that's my purpose currently.
That's your mission.
Exactly, that is my mission, to help guys who are doing this to turn around like that. And I'll tell you a story quickly. Like,
Go ahead.
God, man, this makes me super sad. But there's a guy on my Discord friends list who I used to play League of Legends with. He was my duo, and he like Discord, you have statuses. You can set your status as certain things. I've noticed he keeps setting his statuses as like some very like nihilistic stuff, like I'm down bad, like I don't want to be alive, why, stuff like that. And a few days ago, I messaged him like, hey man, like, I keep seeing your statuses, like, is there anything I could do to help? And he sent me a very, very long message, sort of it's like a monologue into his sort of internal thought patterns, and I was just reading it, and I could have just burst into tears, honestly, because like that it reminded me so much of how I used to be, how I used to think. And what really makes it like quite jarring for me, I'd say jarring, I'm not entirely sure that's the right word, is that obviously we were duoing League together. And in that time between that, my life has changed in such a positive way, and his has continued to go down. So I see like a direct contrast in like what I've done now versus what could have been if I had, went down a slightly different path. It's a difference
Mm.
between replacing your beliefs with empowering ones versus ones which take power away from you. That's literally it. And my life could have been like that if I had went down that path. So it's yeah, man. Yeah, I really want to help guys like that, genuinely.
Mm. No, that's deep, man. I'm glad you shared that. It must be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate your work, man. Honestly, you're helping kids and adults all over the world, and I really admire you for that, man.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for saying that.
Going back to your girlfriend, how long did you stay with her? Do
My
you remember?
ex,
Yeah,
like, like 6 to 9 months, something like that. It's
yeah,
a while ago now. Yeah, it's just
yeah,
it's a silly internet relationship, Like
yeah,
I barely even count it nowadays, but back
yeah.
then it meant so much to me. Like
It's silly, but it ended up being your turning point, man, which is incredible.
yeah, there's nothing
You can
silly
go
about
from
that, right? Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And where did you go from there? How did you develop from that relationship?
yeah. So I guess it start. Yeah, you've probably heard this like before, like a fuck you moment.
Yes.
You have like a fuck you, yeah, fuck you moment, right? That was my fuck you moment, and that was like, okay, shit's gotta turn around now. And I gotta give a lot of credit to my friend Yanis once again, because he got me onto like the gym wavelength. Like, Sam, why are you looking like a skinny fat little soy boy? You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. I just didn't know like the concept of development of self to this point, because I was just like AFK through my entire life, just like
Mm.
waiting to get back to the video game fantasy world I was living in. So I had like no prospects. My body was like just terrible. There's pictures of me that you can find in my
Yeah,
videos
I've
and
seen
stuff.
you.
Terrible, terrible. Uh, but start with the gym, and the reason why I really recommend everyone start with the gym, especially if you have a video game background like me, is because like if you're anything like me, like you're super into numbers, like you're autistically into numbers.
Into
So
stats,
I
yeah.
started, yeah, dude, going into the gym and like I mean, I still track my workouts to this day with this app, Strong,
Yeah, same.
which is something
Great app.
Hamza. Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant app.
great app.
You put all your numbers in there. You go into the gym. It's like, okay, last week I did 60 kg bench press for 5 reps. This time I'm going to do 60 kg for 6 reps. And it's like, the reason why it works so well is because like it's a tangible difference.
Mm.
I'll give you an example. So if you're lying in bed, right, uh, you have a series of micro decisions to make every day, and truly the difference between a successful version of yourself versus loser self is how you deal with those micro decisions, right? So like a micro decision you might get first thing when you wake up, constant micro decisions is, do I get out of bed and go outside to get some sunlight into my eyeballs, or do I lie in bed, pick up my phone, go on Instagram, scroll Instagram reels, right? That's a micro decision. The thing is, if you make the negative micro decisions on that sort of basis, it's quite hard to tangibly see the negatives or the positives over a short time period. Obviously, it's going to make
Mm-hmm.
a huge difference over a long time period. But on a short period of time, like you can't see the tangible difference. So maybe you fall into the trap of making the more negative micro decisions, thinking that it's not making a difference. The good thing with the gym is that it's tangible. It is a number right there that you can see. Last week I did this week I did this. I went up.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. And that's like the perfect way you can start to like sort of program your brain into seeking that sense of progression through something more
Mm-hmm.
positive, rather than getting it from bullshit. Oh, I just unlocked fucking gold camouflage on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, bro. Whoa, amazing. You know what I mean? Or I just found a perfect reel on Instagram that I can share with my friend, and it'll be so funny. He'll laugh for like a few seconds and then just forget it exists. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
replaces that need for progression in life for something actually very positive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, okay. So starting with the gym,
So starting with the
amazing.
gym. Yeah.
Starting with the gym, yeah. And then after that, funnily enough, like, I'd been editing my own silly sort of gaming videos for quite some time. Because while I was very, very depressed, that was one of the only things I genuinely found joy in is that, shadow playing clips of me playing video games with my friends and then
Mm-hmm.
making them into these things called shitpost montages or shitpost compilations, which I used to do, which were on my channel up until very recently. I decided to private them all because I'm not sure if it was like doing my channel SEO any favors having like hundreds of video game stuff up.
Yeah. I think there's like
Yeah,
still a couple up which did the best. I think you left.
yeah, I left two up, but yeah, they're not the shitpost compilations I did.
Okay.
But yeah, basically I found a lot of joy in doing those, and I did a lot of them. And then I was in the gym, and it's like, well, okay, the logical next step is I'm at home with no prospects, no job. I'm not making any money, and my family's struggling horribly. I'm not in a rich family. My mom is making so many sacrifices to sort of look after me in my cripplingly mentally ill state, which she did. She did look after me in a way that a mother would. So then the next logical step was like, okay, maybe I should start trying to make some money, man, making some moolah.
Mm-hmm.
And then once again, my friend Yanis says to me, like, Sam,
Yanis.
man like Yanis, bro. Shout out to Yanis. You guys all need a Yanis in your life, really. Yanis is still my boy to this day, man. Um, but once again, is like, Sam, you're talented at video editing. Actually, you could offer this as a service online. He was doing something similar. And for 6 months, I was just completely filled with limiting beliefs. Like, no way, Yanis. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm shit. I'll never make money online doing this. Just I didn't do anything. I didn't make any progress because I had so many limiting beliefs. But then one day, he kept on sort of chipping away at me, like, come on, Sam, do it, you do it, do it. And then one day I was like, okay, fine, I'll make a Fiverr gig. Fiverr is like a platform where you offer your like sort of
Yeah.
freelance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I made a Fiverr gig. It was like, I will edit your YouTube videos, whatever. And funnily enough, one of my very first clients on that platform was a guy named Hamza. Hamza, when we met, had I think under 300 subscribers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And when he started messaging me, he was messaging me in a very corporate way, very corporate, like very like professional,
Very serious, yeah.
super serious. And he sent me this like very autistic checklist of like, make sure you render the video in 1080p, really like obvious stuff.
Mm.
And I got an idea of why he was doing this because I was charging so little on the platform to try and garner up
Mm.
some positive reviews. I was getting paid like £5 a video or something crazy like that. I was just trying to get some good reviews on my
Yeah.
my gig.
You gotta start somewhere.
Exactly. So I guess Hamza was quite used to dealing with like a low tier worker, like someone who doesn't understand like this basic shit. So I found it quite funny. But then I was editing this video, and it was a video about how the diet industry is a lie, and sugar will ruin your life and all this stuff. And I was watching, I was like, it's kind of pretty based actually. I mean, I didn't know any of this shit, and he's sharing some like empowering stuff here. So I edited the video, sent it his way, and he was very happy with it. And then we started speaking off the platform because you're not meant to do this, but Fiverr takes like 20% of the pay for essentially just
Wow.
being.
That's
Yeah.
mad.
So we got the fuck off that platform. So I was talking on, and he was like, yeah. So I want to I want to scale this. I want to like make these videos daily. So like if you want to continue doing these, I'd be great. I was like, hell yeah, bro. Yeah, sure. Why not? Make some extra little bit of money on the side. Well, extra any income would be nice. Like
Yeah.
continued working with Hamza. I started to sort of chip away at his sort of corporate shell. I'm a very goofy, silly guy in my own right. I can't be corporate. corporate, man. I'm not gonna be like, hello, sir. Yes, your video will be done. That's not me, man. So I was being goofy. He kept up the corporate shit for a while, and then one day, like, I sort of broke him.
Not surprised.
I broke him, and he started speaking to me like a human being, and I was like, oh wow, incredible.
Finally.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we just became really, really good friends. Hamza became a mentor to me as well. Obviously, this was a guy who was much more clued up on me in this area of life, this self-development stuff. I didn't even know it existed up until this guy. I accidentally ended up editing his videos. So he started to, like, giving me advice, and we're jumping calls every single day. Would talk about his YouTube and how we can, like, make shit better, make it grow. And he'd give me a lot of really good, solid advice. He'd slowly start to instill me with more positive beliefs. Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Hamza, and in those early days, and like working with him on a one-to-one basis like that, the mentorship stuff. Not like on an official level, but like just as friends, just as friends, we would talk like
important.
that. Yeah. And then eventually we ended up, Hamza, one day I was editing one of his videos, and he made up these hypothetical characters inside of the video, just off the cuff. He was like, yeah, so like there's this guy, like, let's say his name's Jeffrey. His name is Jeffrey. And then he made another he made another character which was like a polar opposite, Adonis. And I thought, okay, obviously I was getting paid like £5 a video, so like I wasn't obligated to, like, going above and beyond in my role as literally just cutting his videos and occasionally putting a picture up on screen or something. But obviously I was at that point Hamza's target audience. I was Jeffrey, right? I was this guy who's really struggling with his self-improvement stuff. So I started to depict Jeffrey as a Wojak, using meme culture, because that's my roots, And then I also started using Giga Chad as Adonis. And then we started doing that every day. Hamza loved it so much that he started all of his videos with these two characters and these silly hypotheticals. And at that point, the channel started to really blow up. So long story short, I ended up scaling Hamza's YouTube channel to over 2 million subscribers, becoming the most influential guy in the self-development space, in my opinion. Traveling the world with Hamza, becoming, just complete best friends with him. And so my first client for video editing ended up, being that. It's funny how that works, right? It's funny. Yeah. It's funny how life works.
Do you think that was just out of pure luck, or do you think there was a part of like fate in it? I don't know if are you at all spiritual or religious?
Yeah, I am spiritual. I believe in God. I'm not entirely sure which sort of God I subscribe to. I understand that there's a lot of things in this world which I don't understand. I can't make any tangible sense of, and the only explanation I can seem to sort of find is God. And also, just believing in God is very empowering overall, because if Absolutely. I believe there's a higher being watching over me, no matter what I do, like, even if no one is here physically watching me, like, someone is watching me and judging me, and they want the best for me. There's no downside to that, in my opinion. So I don't see why you wouldn't subscribe to some mindset like that.
So do you think it was God's will that Hamza found you on this Fiverr when you were at your lowest?
Wow. Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe. I've not thought about that, but that's quite heavy, isn't it? Yeah, maybe that's the case. I think me and Hamza sort of found each other at the perfect time. Hamza had been struggling himself with trying to sort of become like this. He had this he had this dream of becoming a digital nomad. He just wanted to make like 2 or 3K a month online so that he could move to Thailand and just chill. That was his goal in life.
His main goal. Now we know what he's doing.
Yeah, he's fucking done a lot more than that. He read the magic of thinking big, apparently. But that was his goal. And that was his goal, and that's all he, really cared about. And he was struggling with that for a while. And then he met me, and I was literally his target audience. And I also had a deep understanding of his target audience and how to reach them through my editing. And it was just a match made in heaven. I think I don't know. I don't know if it's if it was God or if it was just luck, or it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to me. I'm very grateful to have shared that journey though, for sure.
Mm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And what happened? Why did you guys wouldn't say break up, but stop working together? Is it conflict of interest, or did you just grow apart? Or I guess you're still friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of 2023, we had a few misunderstandings, a few differences in opinion and
It
stuff like
happens.
that. And
Mm.
yeah, it's a shame how it went down. It is a shame how it went down because for a while it was a little bit like bitter. You know, we weren't speaking at all. Um, but it was actually quite recent in the last month or so. Hamza actually reached out to me. We had went back and forth a few times sporadically, but it was in the last month. Hamza reached out to me and was like, "Yeah, dude, let's hop in a call. Let's have a chat." And we did. We had a nice chat. Had a nice catch up. We're okay. You know, we're okay now. I don't think we'll ever be how we were. You know, we
Mm.
were literally like brothers. You know, I remember when we fell out, one of the things Hamza said to me was like, "Man, I thought we were gonna grow old together," and that
That
really
really hit.
fucking stung. Yeah, it
Yeah,
stung, man.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's how life goes sometimes, man. I certainly made a few mistakes there. I made a few mistakes. I think he made a few mistakes, but it's what it is. You know, you learn, live and learn.
Mm-hmm. Now we all do, man. To go back to your editing, did you only edit for Hamza, or did you also have someone else at the beginning of your venture?
Yeah, I was experimenting for a little while. For the first it's hard to put a time scale on it actually, but like yeah, for a long while I was juggling like multiple clients, like trying to figure stuff out and like. But yeah, there was a point where like we were like really scaling Hamza, and I went all in
Mm-hmm.
on Hamza.
Okay.
Because there was just so much work to do with Hamza anyway. I was his only editor for the
Yeah.
first like year and a half, and he was doing these daily videos. I
Just like
don't have fucking time. I barely have time to sleep, let alone doing other fucking videos for other clients. So, yeah,
and given
yeah,
the amount of editing that went in back then, I mean, yeah, you must have had so much to fucking do. Like,
yeah,
damn, yeah. And honestly, your editing skills are amazing, man. What do you use, by the way? Like Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro,
yeah. I use the Adobe suite. I actually used
Adobe.
Vegas for the first few months of working with Hamza, but yeah, that shit
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
You know, man. Yeah, can imagine. No, honestly, great, man. You're great editor, honestly.
Thanks,
And
man.
yeah, you clearly helped Hamza when it comes to growing his channel. And yeah, what happens with you two meeting each other is just amazing. How you helped each other out. What are the top 3 lessons you learned from Hamza?
Wow. Oh my god.
If you could do a top 3, I don't know if you could like quantify it in that way.
Yeah, it's real difficult.
Mm, yeah, I've realized.
I've got to give 1 to 100% just the idea of instant versus delayed gratification,
Mm,
which I credit that to Hamza because once again I didn't know fucking anything about self development
yeah.
up until I met him. So instant versus delayed gratification, big one. I think the importance of like relentlessly pursuing a goal. So goal setting in general, but also just relentlessly pursuing it.
Mm,
There's lessons I've learned from Hamza on what not to do as well. Because obviously
mm-hmm.
I've shared that journey with him,
Yeah.
and it's fucking crazy. like going from nothing to massive stardom, making a
Mm-hmm.
fuck ton of money, having so much fucking influence, like just walking around the streets and you got people like running up to you like, "Oh, bro, you changed my life" and shit. There's so many like traps along that journey which people fall into,
Mm-hmm.
100%. Um,
What are some of those traps, you know?
oh, you can definitely. I've witnessed this with multiple of my friends. Um, I liken it to like the Lord of the Rings. When Sam gets the ring, he turns into a little bastard. You know,
Yeah.
like when you start to get like some levels of power, it
Yeah.
will like test your crippin in
Yeah,
that sense.
just the ego creeps in and you just start thinking you're better than everyone.
Yeah, you
Absolutely,
can
yeah.
fall into that trap, even if it's like. Hopefully, you catch yourself doing it, right?
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that's certainly a big trap laid out to people, especially if they get like rapid senses of growth. And I've seen that numerous times too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just the idea, like casual sex. Like for the longest time, I like struggled with casual sex, and like I don't know how I feel about it. Do I want to be like engaging with that stuff? Um, I got an insight into Hamza and his struggles with some of his more personal relationships. And I really do like, I attribute a lot of his struggles, a lot of his struggles with his relationships,
Mm.
with his own casual sex past, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, no,
So,
absolutely, yeah.
like, it's like a reflection upon himself onto the people that he has in his life.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that was a
That's very
big lesson.
interesting.
That was a big lesson.
Okay. So you were able to actually witness what he was saying since the beginning. Of I remember he had this analogy with the the sticky, what is it, like tape, and how you just stick it and at some point it just starts being, the link becomes weaker and weaker. So it's very interesting that you were able to actually witness that in a actual real case scenario.
Yeah, it's like, because he had like these experiences with women in these like very degenerate settings and stuff. um he would sometimes reflect his own experiences onto like perhaps the women he was speaking to, even
Mm.
if it's like fair or not fair, you know what I mean? Like it was always an issue that he was like wrestling with. And I think a lot of sort of guys have that too. The guys who the red pill in itself is just like a bunch of very damaged men, like
Mm.
not opening up their hearts to loving a woman because they posture that up as bravery, right?
Mm.
And it's actually the complete opposite of bravery, because to love a woman, you have to sacrifice and you have to trust. And the way that these guys navigate their relationships, and the trap that a lot of young men fall into, is like creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of someone who is completely incapable of trusting and truly loving a woman, you know. So I guess I saw glimpses of that with Hamza. I think it's overcome it now, though. You know, like I think it's doing very well now. But it was
Mm.
certainly for a period of time, like he struggled with this sometimes, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
So what did you learn from that then? So degenerate sex is off the table. It's not good.
Um,
Or does it go beyond that?
yeah, I suppose I learned a lot about sort of inter relationships in general,
Mm.
um, and how we might reflect our own experiences and beliefs onto those around us. And it's just another faucet of our beliefs being like the most important things in our life. And if you have like negative beliefs, then they manifest themselves in reality. So if you believe all women are hoes, all of your women might be hoes, for example.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did take away that, yes, casual sex isn't for me. Although I was never inclined towards that.
Okay.
I think I dodged quite a big bullet in the sense of like having crippling anxiety until 22 years old because I dropped out of college. I didn't go to university, which is an absolute cesspit for drugs and casual sex. When I did quit games, I did have a spell of doing drugs. So I do have that tendency. So if I went to uni, drugs would have been definitely on the table. And with drugs and alcohol and all that crap comes a lot of casual sex. So
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
dodged a bullet there, you know.
yeah. I'm in university at the moment. Not north of Manchester actually. Lancaster. Don't know if you know where Lancaster is. It's just north. And yeah, man, just casual sex, drugs, alcohol. It's all there. You just have to learn to cohabitate. Just living with it, I guess, but not indulging in
Yeah,
it.
and that's hard. That's
Mm.
really hard because,
When it's
like,
just when it's in front of your face, you're just like, ha,
yeah, and you get FOMO. I get
yeah.
FOMO sometimes. Like when, even now, bro. Even now, I struggle with this. Like, if my friends are like, "Yeah, we went out, had a good time, and then I took this bitch back, and I did this and this and this and this." I'm there like, "Oh damn, I wish I was doing this and this and this to women." But then I realize, like, oh wait, like the reason he's telling me this is because he's probably getting more fulfillment out of stoking his ego by telling me about it rather than doing the shit himself. It was probably
Mm-hmm.
really sad in reality. Like, I've had a few casual
Mm.
sex encounters. I'm not like, I experimented with it. I did end up experimenting with it like a few years ago or something. I think I've had
Mm-hmm.
like a handful of casual sexual encounters, and not all of them were bad, but I did come to realize very quickly, like, yeah, like this isn't for me. This doesn't make
Mm.
me feel anything. I've always modeled like very healthy relationships. I'll give you a silly example, but like a one which I model
Yeah.
to this day, which is PewDiePie and Marzia. I used to look up to those guys and their relationship and just be like, oh my God, I want that so bad. I want that so bad. Like she's a ride or die. She was with him before he had like all of the
All the
subs and the
subscribers, yeah.
money. They were in a long distance and they met
Mm.
and it was like fucking beautiful. I was like, fuck yeah, I want something like that. And funnily enough, like I feel like I have that relationship now, which I'm very fucking lucky because it just goes to show your beliefs
Yeah.
will fucking paint your reality, right? Like if
Yeah, no, absolutely,
you're
yeah,
modeling for Dan Blazarian,
yeah.
you're gonna get a bunch of fucking hoes who don't give a shit about you. And if you're not
Mm.
Dan Blazarian as well, if you don't have that level of status, like yeah, no shit, they're gonna walk all over you, bro.
So you're in a relationship right now.
I am, yeah.
I wish you the best one.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, she's she's coming here in 5 days to live with me.
Wow, that's a big step.
It is.
That's a big step. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, well, I was very anxious about it because
Mm.
I asked all of my
Naturally.
friends. Yeah, I asked all my friends like, guys, what do you think? Like da da da, and they're like, yeah, Sam, that's like one of the worst things you can do. You're gonna get really complacent, da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, I can see the theory behind that,
Mm.
but maybe I'm just a fucking maybe I will succumb to this, maybe I won't. But like, I really feel like having her here will only add to my life and my purpose. With the type of girl she is, like, you know, like I'm in early stages of my business.
Mm-hmm.
Taking her on as a full responsibility, financially, safety, etc., everything is less than ideal in my scenario right now. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel so strongly about her. Like, I feel like she's 100% going to be my wife, and she's got so many
Mm.
of the incredible aspects which I look for in a woman. She's very supportive. She's genuinely ride or die. I feel like with that type of woman in my life, in my physical presence, I will actually become stronger.
Mm. No, absolutely. I can see in the way you talk about her that you love her, and it's gonna go well, man. I wish you the best.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
to go
it'll
back
be
to
interesting to see how it goes. It'll be
yeah.
interesting. I'll document I'll show you guys
Yeah,
what I
I
learned.
was gonna say, man, just keep me
Because there's
posted,
not
man. Keep
many
me
guys
posted.
doing this. There's not many guys doing this.
Yeah,
Everyone's just like, yeah, I've got a girlfriend for 3 weeks, and one to the next. Like, I'm actually like, I'm treading into, I'd say unknown territory, but it's not unknown. It's just unknown in today's world. This is actually like standard. Just a very quick point. Very quick point. I learned yesterday that Jordan B. Peterson met his wife when he was 8 years old. And like,
well,
I
okay.
find that to be such a stronger signaling of status than if he had some like 20-year-old supermodel on his arm. Honestly,
No, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree.
yeah.
Completely agree. Man, I forgot what I was gonna say. To go back to the lesson you learned from Hamza with the casual sex, do you think men in general, and especially younger men, should actually still experiment for themselves and try it out to learn from it? Or do you think they should? It goes back to the whole saying of a smart man learns from his mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistake of others. But it is hard to learn from the mistake of others. I mean, I can say firsthand, it's always way easier to learn from your own mistakes because obviously you've done them. So do you think it's just a path of every young man's journey to, he should maybe not feel obliged, but try it out and then see for himself if it obviously works for him? Because I guess it works for some people, right? Even though I think we can agree it's not the best thing. So yeah, what do you think? What do you have to say about that? Do you think we should experiment with that, or it's already a no-go because of your testimonials and Hamza's and countless men?
It's very difficult because
Bro, I'm throwing bangers.
yeah, you fucking are brave. It's very difficult because obviously it's very easy for someone like me to say, who has access to the sexual market, like, oh yeah, guys, it's not that awesome, guys, trust me, don't worry.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then there's a guy down here who's like, please, just a crumb of pussy, please. It's very hard for me to convince him that, like, oh yeah, it's not that cool up here, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every man will go on his own journey. If you, I'll say this, it's very difficult for me to try and preach to someone like, yeah, bro, it's not all that, but what I will say is that if you are inclined that way, much like how I was naturally inclined against it. I was like, this isn't for me, this isn't it. If you are that way, you're going to come into so much resistance, bro. Oh my god, you're going to have everyone telling you, no, Sam, you've got to experience it, bro. Yeah, just come out, bro. Do all this shit, man. You're going to have so much resistance. And the only possible place where you can find power in saying no constantly to all of this resistance is God. Swear to God. Swear to God, bro. Honestly, you guys have seen this trend in the last 3 years where it's like, yeah, I can have multiple girlfriends. I'm the top H, bro. All this shit. I was very much so like, I was into that shit, bro.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
looking into that, and I was like, oh,
I
maybe
think
this.
we've all been there. It's like a canon event. At some
Yeah,
point,
like
we were
maybe
like,
this
oh,
is the path forward. Maybe I am just a man, and this is how it is, and Like, in my heart, I knew it was like not right. I knew it was not right. Because like, if you're dispersing your soul into 5 different women, you're not going to value them anywhere near as much as you would if you just had one woman. And I've already mentioned, but like, love is sacrifice. The more you sacrifice for your love, the greater world it will have in your life, right?
the stronger it will
100%.
be. Yeah, 100%.
If you're not willing to sacrifice your evolutionary desires to have sex with as many women as possible, you're not going to value your relationships that much. And then you create a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, yeah, women, they're not that cool, But the truth is, if you actually just invested in one woman, you would get so much value from that relationship. But you've never trusted women enough. Maybe a fucking girl broke your heart in college, and then you were like, yeah, fuck this, I'm never gonna let that happen again. Whatever the fuck. yeah, so I went down that rabbit hole for a while, and then
Mm.
I found the answer in God. I was literally, I was like, I've got my friends saying this, I've got my morality telling me this and this and this and this. I was like, okay, what the fuck do I listen to? What's right? And I was like, I literally turned to God. I swear to God, one night I prayed to God, and I said, what the fuck do I do? I didn't say what the fuck because I'm praying to God.
Obviously,
I wouldn't
yeah,
swear to
you're not
God.
gonna.
I wouldn't swear at God. You know, I am a
Yeah,
sinner, but I wouldn't go out of my way to
yeah,
swear to God. But
yeah.
I said, God, what? I literally hands and knees. I was like, what do I do, God? What do I do?
Mm.
And since then, I feel like I've sort of let God into my life, and it's become a lot more clear to me. You know,
Mm.
uh, no, you shouldn't cheat on your girlfriend. You shouldn't, try and juggle multiple women and whatever. All this hedonistic garbage is that you see on social media. It's all very
Mm.
marketable. Look at me, I'm with all these hot chicks. Yeah, cool. It's not actually cool though, man. It's not actually cool. It's like
It's very shallow.
it's shallow as hell. I've experienced elements of it. I've not experienced the full, shebang, but I've experienced elements, and it's like it's so shallow. Honestly, you're not
Mm.
missing anything. So if you are that way inclined and you do want to try and avoid casual sex, I would say your best bet is turning to God. That's my only answer I have.
I love it. I love it. Just while we're in this space, what do you think of Top G? Just in a couple of words. What do you think of the what do you Emory Andrew Tate the second, whatever his name is?
I quite like Andrew Tate. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't ever agree with everything anyone says. I'm a very critical person.
Mm.
A lot of people think I was Hamza's yes man. I wasn't. I was Hamza's biggest critic. Um, I don't agree with everything he says, but generally speaking, I think is a very net positive force for the world. He's instilled
Mm.
many empowering beliefs into me for sure, and I'm sure he's done that for a lot of other men. Like anyone else, though, you can go to the extreme ends and just like you can turn. You'll meet plenty of kids who are super cringe, like like they've got this top G persona,
Mm.
really cringe. I mean, I think I even went down that pathway for a little bit, like I was posting like lots of photos of me smoking cigars, and like I sort of started emulating Tate's copywriting style as well with how I did my Instagram captions,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I think turned a lot of people away. Um, so I definitely went overboard with it as well. But generally speaking, I like Tate. I think he's a force for good. I don't like
Absolutely.
his hedonistic side of things. I don't like how he
Mm.
juggles multiple women and things like that. I don't think that's good. I don't agree with everything anyone has done ever, though, because I'm my own
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. You should never. Yeah, you should never fuck with everything. I mean, you always have your own opinions. Like same Andrew Tate. I fuck around with like 70% of what he says. Right, as you say, he's a
Yeah,
force for good. He's great motivation. He obviously has the right words. He knows how to express himself. But
yeah.
yeah, as you
You've
said,
got
the
to
whole
clarify though,
hedonistic.
because so many people like they're like, oh, you like Andrew Tate, so you're a fucking.
Exactly.
They
I know.
literally just paint you as a one-to-one as that. It's
Yeah,
like, well, no, it's
exactly.
not.
I'm not saying he's my twin and he's my god. Like I love Andrew Tate. No, I just like it's like anyone. Like I love some things of what he says, but there's other things I don't agree with. I'm sure we both have topics we wouldn't agree on, right? It's normal. We just have to
Yeah,
stay open minded and just talk about it.
of course, of course.
Okay, so we talked about the lessons you got from Hamza, your whole story with Hamza. I think we can just leave Hamza behind now, even though he was a big inspiration for you, I guess, good mentor.
Of course.
Do you have any other mentors or inspirations in the space, or not, except God?
God's a big one. God's my boy. Um, yeah, it's hard. I've picked up a lot of learning lessons from like people along my journey. I have a very good network of friends. I have so many friends that I've mentioned Yanis a few times.
Mm,
But there's so many more people like along the journey. Even now, I'm a student for life. I'm learning new things every single day without fail. I'm not learning new things. Um,
great.
Yeah, I couldn't mention anyone by name off the top of my head because there's just so many of them, you know. But I've got
Okay, yeah.
such fantastic friends. I'm so grateful for my friends. I always try
Mm,
to give back wherever I can with my friends. I love them all so much.
mm. Yeah, well said. Well said. What was one of the most challenging moments in your life? And now I'm not talking about back when you were a teen and the whole, anxiety attack, scared kid, but more so like recently, like in the last. You said you're 25, so in the last 3-4 years, what
Yeah.
was maybe one or smaller challenges you faced that really knocked you down, but you got back up? And what did you learn
Yeah.
from them?
100%. When I stopped working with Hamza, 100%,
Wow. Okay.
because I was $8,000 in debt in
Okay.
Thailand,
Oh.
and I went from having great income to literally zero income within the space of a few days.
Wow.
Because I was all in on Hamza.
Yeah.
So
How wait, just if it's not indiscreet, how much were you making per video towards the end?
I was on a monthly retainer for I might be wrong. I think it was like $12,000 a month.
Mm, okay,
Yeah, so I went from that to zero. I was 8K in
it's
debt.
pretty brutal. Yeah.
Pretty fucking brutal, bro. Yeah. Um, I had to literally like just fucking make something work, bro. You know,
Mm,
and I had this idea for like a video editing sort of academy teaching guys what I know. For the
mm,
longest time, but I'd never taken action on it, and there's a lesson there because I was forced into action because I had to, right? But
yeah.
that idea was sat there for literally like over a year in my Notion. It was all planned out. Not all of it, but most of it was planned out
Mm.
already.
Yeah, the idea was there.
Exactly. But only until I was like kicked off the edge and it was like sink or swim is when I started to take action. And I
Mm,
did. For 2 weeks straight, I locked myself in my hotel room, stressed out of my mind, just putting this together. Um, I've never done anything like that before. Any sort of like online sales, online income, anything like that. You know, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Sales funnels. Just so there's a lot of shit that goes into it. So that was definitely a sink or swim moment, and biggest learning lessons from that. 100%. Biggest challenges I've had came from that, and then just um, keeping that ball rolling as well, launching my own personal brand. I've
mm,
historically played the right hand man very well.
mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, I actually was the sort of the right hand man for my friend Yanis's YouTube channel before I did Hamza's.
Okay.
It was a silly gaming video. We did Rust videos, the
Okay.
game Rust.
Mm,
But we got really successful there as well. I play the right hand man role very well, but when it comes to launching your own thing, it's very very different actually. And
mm,
obviously, I'd learned a lot from working alongside Hamza, but I still fell into so many pitfalls and mistakes, um, which I feel like I'm recovering from now. You know,
mm-hmm.
um, definitely that period of time though, transitioning from right hand into my own man has been the hardest but most rewarding process I've done so far, without a doubt.
Amazing. And now you've got this academy, right, where you teach people to editing skills, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I
Mm,
teach guys how to make money online through video editing, develop amazing relationships with their clients, build build like a brand around your video editing, which actually brings people to your door. You know, a
mm,
lot of people they recognize me as just Sam, Hamza's editor. You know, and
mm.
there's a reason for that. It's because I actually managed to inject my personality into the videos and made myself a bit of a sort of third person character on the channel.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm. Okay, yeah. I'll link that down below for those listening if you want to check it out. It'll be the first link
Thanks,
down
bro.
below. No
Yeah,
worries.
thanks.
So you stopped editing for Hamza and you went into. You say it was swim or drown, right? I when I take this analogy, like for example, when it comes to university, right? Because as I said, I'm in university at the moment. My parents always told me, no, go to uni, you'll have a safety net. If anything goes wrong, you can rely on your diploma, right? But I'm slowly now thinking that if I didn't have that net, I might even work harder because, as you said, the swim or die because I'll drown. Like if I don't swim, I'm just gonna drown. So I think it's even a bigger motivation to actually try. Well, not try, do. There's no try. Let's do. In your business because you know that. I mean, what do you think of that? To actually, for those that want to quit university, for that reason of it'd be a bigger motivation to not have a diploma behind your back to save you in case you fuck up.
Well, I'm at the stage where I've experienced life outside of like the traditional job.
Mm.
I don't think I could ever go back to that and remain happy there. Obviously, like if shit goes wrong, the world comes crashing down, I know that I could just go home, back to mom's house, and like just get a normal ass job while I figure out what the next steps are. But
Mm.
like there will be next steps. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I'm never gonna be sort of happy there after experiencing the life I've experienced. Um, which I do recommend people to like save up money, come out
Mm.
to a place like Thailand, Bali, whatever is your sort of flavor of life, and just put a lot of pressure on yourself in that sense. Like you've got 10K saved up. You want to stay out here. Trust me, you want to stay out here once you come here. You really do.
Yeah.
Figure something out, which is what one of my friends is doing right now. He's on savings and he's just like, fuck this, I'm gonna figure this out. And he's doing it. He's in his house right now, figuring this shit out. I think you need to put yourself under some sort of like extraneous pressure.
Mm.
I don't know how. I mean, I have strong opinions on school and university, which
Mm.
might annoy people. Yeah.
Let's trigger some people, eh?
Yeah, let's trigger some. Okay, so I'll preface this by saying if you want to be a doctor or anything, which I don't even think this
Academic.
is like,
Yeah.
this isn't even like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Inflammatory opinion. It's really not. If you want to be a
Mm.
doctor, fair enough.
Yeah, or
If you
like
have a clear
engineer
pathway
or
forward, yeah,
astronaut.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, of course. But like, if you don't have that, if you don't have a clear goal in mind, university is not only a waste of time, but it is a huge detriment into your life. You are genuinely shooting yourself in the foot if you go to university. You're not only taking on a huge debt, which you'll never pay off in your fucking life, but also you are wasting a disgusting amount of time in your prime years of your life. And not
Mm.
only that, you're actually surrounding yourself with a bunch of losers who are going out doing a bunch of drugs, alcohol, casual sex, a bunch of garbage, honestly. Like, I remember listening to my friends telling me about all of their epic university stories in a Discord call, and I'd be like, oh man, I wish that was me, man. Oh, fuck, I wish I went to uni. And this was back when I was still in the trenches, but like, now it's so clear to me. It's so clear to me. Oh my God, I dodged a fucking bullet. I'm actually very grateful for my anxiety and my depression and how crippling it was, because if it was
Mm.
just slightly more bearable, maybe I would have continued through school and continued getting indoctrinated,
Mm-hmm.
and then fell into some bullshit NPC life path activity like, oh, I'm a
Mm.
fucking warehouse worker now. And that probably would have been enough for me to kill myself, unironically.
Wow.
It
Okay.
probably would have been. So I'm actually very grateful it got like to the extreme lengths of how bad it was, because
Mm.
it actually forced me out of education, and I was not enlightened enough to realize how much of a complete waste of time it is. Because once again, I wasn't conscious until I was 22 years old. I wasn't conscious. So like, I didn't stand a fucking chance, honestly, of figuring out
Yeah.
myself. No way.
Yeah, my parents are gonna love this episode.
Yeah, sorry, Jared's parents. Sorry.
No, but it's good to have people's opinions, because honestly, I do agree with what you say. And then when my parents give it to me in another way, I'm like, that's true. I guess you just have to weigh the force and
Your parents will just teach you like what worked for them, and that's fantastic.
because
They want
that's
you
what they know. Yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
the thing is, like, times are changing very quickly, and like, you might have noticed, you might have not noticed, but like the middle and lower class are getting absolutely drowned in financial pressure
I've
every
noticed.
single day.
I study
Every
economics, so
single
yeah.
day, that like and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse as they continue inflating the dollar. So it's not a viable option anymore. You can't have a job as a man in your household and have your wife and your children stay at home chilling. You can't do that. You all need to be working. You all need to be paying your taxes. You need to be in some soul sucking job. You don't have time for the fucking gym anymore. Your wife isn't in love with you anymore because you're not the man of the house, and she has to go to work. Otherwise, you can't feed the kids. It's fucking deep, bro. Like,
Just
having
goes
a normal
crashing
job.
down.
Having a normal job might have worked for our parents. That's awesome. It might not have. It might not
Yeah.
have, but they still push it on you because they don't know. They don't know. Like, they don't know this shit. So it's up to us as men. It is a rite of passage as a man to fucking leave the bird's nest. And our parents, they'll have us in the bird's nest for as long as humanly possible. But like, fortune favors the bold, man.
Well said.
Fuck having a plan B. Fuck university. You know what, Jared? After this episode, I want you to drop out. I want you to show me your letter of resignation. I'm joking. You do what you want. That's just my opinion.
I appreciate it, man. Whew, all right, so we've talked about the challenges you faced, what you've learned from them, your thoughts on university and higher studies. Now, on the contrast, can you share a moment of triumph or success that stands out as a significant accomplishment? Would you say it's the launch of your academy, or perhaps something else?
I'm the richest man in the world. I have an incredible network of fantastic friends. I have an incredibly beautiful feminine girlfriend. I have a sense of purpose which is higher than myself. I am the richest man in the world.
I love it. Plain simple. So that's
That
your greatest
is
accomplishment.
my greatest
It's not a point in time. It's where you are now. It's everything you've accomplished.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's maintenance. I don't just have those things like that. I have to maintain them. I have to maintain them by being who I am. I need to be thoughtful, a man of character, a man who provides. I need to be someone who gives value. These are all things which they're not given to me as men. They never were. They're not given to us as men. We have to build them, and we also have to maintain them. So it's a constant reminder to myself every day that I am the man who I say I am, and for that I get the rewards bestowed upon me of amazing, incredible people in my life, and the opportunity to give them experiences which they would not be able to experience without me doing what I do. So,
and how would one achieve this? At least from your point of view.
Being a man of high moral standing, not selling your soul. I would say, like, yeah, just get rich, bro. It's very marketable for me to say that. Just get rich, bro. But most people that you meet who have money, they sold a part of their soul for it. Which is why you always hear money doesn't make you happy. It won't make you happy if you sold your soul for it. It's a hard question to answer
Mm.
because it's very multifaceted. You need
Mm-hmm.
to be a man of all around outstanding character. Yeah. There's no easy way for me to answer that, unless I
Mm.
break down the specific facets, like a girlfriend, friends, family.
If you're up for it.
Okay, so girlfriend.
Let's go.
I love, bro. I love talking. I'll talk all day,
No,
bro.
no, go ahead, go ahead. You're
um,
loving it.
girlfriend. So it is, in my opinion, that if you want to find your wife, which if you're anything like me, you want to find your wife, not just have sex with women. You need to stop shopping at McDonald's. What do I mean by that? You need to stop entertaining garbage women who you don't foresee your wife being. I meet so many guys, and they're like, "Yeah, I have a girlfriend." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's your wife?" And they're like, "Well, no, I don't think so. I think I'll probably break up with her in 6 months." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" What?
Yeah,
Okay, so in that
it's
entire
mind boggling.
time that you're with this chick, you're not open to finding your wife, and you never know when your wife is going to enter your life. Never, you never know.
Mm.
But you're blocking off large periods of your life to finding your wife because you're with this chick who you don't see any long-term prospects with. And also, this
That's
also
crazy.
applies for when you're going out and like messing around in the clubs, casual sex here. Oh, I'm spinning plates, bro. You know what I mean? Like all this garbage. It's all trash. You're never going to be able to see when your wife enters your life if you're too busy shopping at McDonald's when next door there's a fucking steakhouse. There's a steakhouse there, bro. It's much healthier. It's much better. It's going to satiate your hunger far more. Trust me. Okay. That's one. Um, there's so many aspects to women. Jesus. You need a deep understanding of women as well. I think a
Mm.
lot of men they become resentful for women because they don't understand them. Um, three quick things which I can list. There's so much. There's so much, but there's three quick things I can give you. Okay, one,
Mm.
women operate more around emotions. We're more logical, right?
Mm.
So they're more reactive. Number two, um, women like to feel understood. Men like to problem solve. Okay.
Mm.
Three, this is important, and no one talks about this ever, but women have a 28-day hormone cycle. We have 24 hours. So our hormones are fairly regular. Women's are like,
It's like a
woo,
fucking yeah.
crazy. And like, if you don't understand a few, like some of those things about women, you might end up resenting them in some sense. And if you
Mm.
resent them, you will never have a healthy relationship with a woman, ever. So it's very important you understand women and the differences. And I absolutely fucking love women, by the way. I'm not saying those differences are negative things. I think they're incredible things. It allows
Mm.
my girlfriend to feel things on such a deeply emotional level that I'm not able to. I
Mm.
remember telling my girlfriend, I opened up to my girlfriend about like some trauma which I experienced when I was younger. And she lay next to me and fucking sobbed on my behalf. I didn't shed a single tear. She just sobbed and she hugged me. And it was
Oh,
like, it was the most
bless her.
healing it was the most healing thing I've ever experienced in my life. Women are absolutely fucking incredible. And there was a period of time where I had a level of resentment towards women. And if you have that, you can't find your wife.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much with women. You need to be a man of character, value. You know all this shit. Like you need to provide security, provide them, all that stuff. Friends. One thing I'll mention with friends is you need to be a chronic giver. Never be someone who takes and doesn't give. Givers always win in the long term. Takers might win in the short term, but eventually it'll catch up to them.
Mm.
Always, like, whenever I see any opportunity at all to like provide any sort of value to any of my friends in my network, I always will. And I won't expect a thing in return. But the way the world works is very funny because I always seem to get things in return, even if I don't specifically expect or ask. So there's givers, takers, and matchers. Matchers, they're sat in the middle, they expect like things in return. Givers always get the best results. Always give to your network.
Always give without expecting to receive.
Yeah, and there's an excellent book on this called Give or Take by Adam Grant, which I read. I don't read that often, but I read that book. Very good book, very helpful. It'll explain to you why givers win and why takers lose.
Okay, what's the biggest bullshit you keep hearing in the space of self-improvement at the moment? Like, you're just like, what?
Oh, there's quite a lot.
If you could name just a couple, even one, like the biggest one, you're like, shut the fuck up.
I think a lot of dudes in this space, they give their blueprint to success with what worked with them without second thought as to why it worked for them and if it will work for other people.
Interesting.
Which I find to be asinine, because just because it worked for you doesn't mean it will work for anyone else. You need to. It's lazy. It's actually very lazy. It's the lack of deeper thought as to what your target audience needs to hear from you. I find that to be very frustrating.
Okay. And what's the most underrated statement or thing said in the self-improvement today?
The average of 5 people rule is so unbelievably true. I know people have heard. So you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Is so true. If you're hanging around with 5 people who are unhappy, you're going to be the 6th unhappy person. If you're hanging around 5 people who are very happy, you're going to be the 6th very happy person. If you know that, you can essentially hack your way into any sort of positive feedback loop. On the flip side, you can also find yourself in any negative feedback loop. I think that's one of the most important things to know. And the thing which a lot of men struggle with this is their only friends are people who are perhaps like a bit more negative, They're in Discord calls, playing Rocket League, and then someone leaves a call and then everyone starts talking shit about them. It's that sort of friendship. Which is so negative.
That's sad.
Yeah, so if you're in that scenario, I would say you're 110% better off alone, feeling lonely, even though that is very painful.
Were you in that scenario?
100%, yeah. Yeah. That was a very specific example for a reason, because it's true.
I felt it, yeah.
It's very true. Yeah. You're 100% better off alone, because you'll end up being like hateful and nihilistic and a nasty person, much like them. You'll end up talking shit about people, and that's like the lowest vibrational state you could possibly be in. How do you expect to make any sort of positive change in your life or
impact?
There's no way if you're operating at that level.
Your
you're far better off
dictates
actually being alone, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, your environment dictates you. Absolutely. Let's go on something on the lighter side now. Walk me through your daily routine. What do you do? What do you typically do in a day? And perhaps what do you eat? Are you on a diet, carnivore diet, or are you more on a keto, or even just a normal diet? Walk me through it, Sam.
My daily routine at the moment is a bit of a complete mess, because I'm in a weird transitional period. I'm kind of waiting for my girlfriend to get here so I can get onto like a proper routine, and something which is great about her is that she's one of these psychopaths who gets up at like 5 a.m. So I think I'll get that from her, hopefully. But yeah, my daily routine is pretty scuffed at the moment, bro. Like I go through the motions. I have a like to-do list and I just go through them, and that's that. I don't have any sort of rhyme or reason. Then I do hope to get a good routine though very soon.
What do you do in a day if there's no structure? What do you typically do?
Yeah, so obviously a big chunk of my time is spent um, on the YouTube side of things. I've had a
Mm.
massive focus on YouTube. I spend pretty much every waking hour thinking about my YouTube and how I can reach these guys with my message and like where I'm
Mm.
going wrong, where I'm going right. I swear to God, like when I tell you I've been like obsessive over it for the past like 9 months, I really have. That is where I spend a lot of my time. I've spent a lot less time on the marketing and sales side of things in the recent like 9 months or so, because I've not actually refined my message on my YouTube channel um, until very recently. I think I'm now on the right track with my YouTube
Mm.
channel.
Didn't you have a apology video recently where you stated that you sort of off track your your purpose on YouTube and you're trying to recenter that?
Yes, yes, I did. I made a video explaining why I've been so schizophrenic in the last 9 months, which I
Mm.
have been because I've lacked any sort of direction. I've had no idea what the hell I'm doing. Like I say, like I helped Hamza with his YouTube channel from 500 to 2 million, but there's some learning lessons which apparently like just didn't click with me. It's a whole different
Mm.
ball game, whole different ball game. So I was like super schizophrenic, like no lack like sense of like direction or anything, and
Mm.
I've failed in my mission for a long time to reach the guys I'm trying to reach and to give them the message I'm trying to give them. So I
Mm.
felt like I owed some sort of an apology and also a commitment going forward, which is what I said in the video. I said every single day now, I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to upload a video every single day. If you don't get a video from me, I'm fucking dead. I'm in a bike crash. I'm dead. There's no way you're not going to get an upload from me. So that was more. It was less of an apology. It was an apology, but it was also for me. It was a selfish video in the sense of I want to make that commitment
Yeah, so
public.
so you put, yeah, exactly, you public it. So I've done the same recently on my podcasts. I stopped. So I was with a co-host at first,
I saw
Fahim.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and he had to leave for personal reasons. And since then, it sort of we sort of slowed down. Like we'd post an episode every 2 weeks, and since I picked it back up every week, the first episode I made, which was New Chapter, I basically laid out that an episode every Thursday 6 p.m. That won't change, and I'll also be giving clips 3 times a week. And now that I'll put that on YouTube, I'm forced to do it because I did say it publicly, and I've got to deliver right. So I understand what you're doing. It's pretty smart, honestly. It's
It's
pretty
very
smart.
powerful
And
using your
I
own
wouldn't call it
video.
selfish. Selfish is a big word because it is selfish, but in a sense you are committing yourself to your audience. So I'd say selfless, man.
Yeah, it's somewhere there, somewhere on that spectrum. Yeah, it is very powerful using your social media as like personal accountability.
Mm, because they'll
It's
just
very
call you out if
powerful.
you don't do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So most of the time is YouTube. Do you go to the gym every day, or do you go 5 times a week, 4 times a week?
I go every day. Yeah,
Every day. Every day.
yeah.
Okay.
Unless my body is like fucked up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I listen to my body. Unironically, I listen
Mm.
to my body.
No, yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
I had a friend I met very recently on this island. Um, he went through a pretty rough breakup. A girl did him very dirty. I've been smashing the gym with him, smashing it, like tapping into his breakup energy. We're we're coming out of that gym in fucking wheelchairs, bro.
You mentioned you're on island. Are you on Koh Samui then? You stayed there?
Kosovo,
Koh
yeah,
Samui.
Kosovo.
Okay. Okay. That's a great place. Yeah, I need to travel there. Maybe not Koh Samui, maybe Koh Phangan, which is right above it. Do you do much traveling at all in Thailand, or like a lot of like I wouldn't call them expeditions, but you're like
Wait, what?
exploring the
Wait,
island, or
why do you want to go Koh Phangan?
um because apparently Koh Samui is just I would I wouldn't say overrated, but like there's just too many tourists at the moment, and I've talked to friends that did both, and they actually preferred Koh Phangan. So that's why.
Interesting.
Why are you asking? Tell me your thoughts on that. You prefer?
Well,
I guess you prefer Koh Samui.
Koh Phangan, from my perception, is full of
Mm.
like hippies, like spiritual nuts, and it's like, yeah, guys, come on, we're gonna do group orgies, and obviously it's also home of the full moon party.
So I've heard. So I've heard.
Yeah, full moon's pretty crazy.
You've done it
Yeah,
before?
huh?
Have you done the full moon party before?
I've done
How
the
was
full
it?
moon party. Heavy. Heavy, bro. Heavy. Yeah.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
It's
Um,
like 20,000 people on a beach,
yeah,
So
no, but yeah, it's crazy. I've seen some. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, yeah, and your diets? Are you on a carnivore diet or plain normal diet?
I
What do you do?
do one meal a day.
Okay, so a lot of fasting.
Yeah, I do a fuck ton of fasting, but I do one meal a day, but I actually eat like 4 eggs before I go to sleep because
Okay.
that is incredible for my testosterone, and
Yeah, same. I've been
it
eating a
means
lot of
I
eggs
wake
recently
up with
too.
like a fucking
Yeah, we
massive
know.
hard on,
Yeah.
ready to attack the day. So yeah.
Okay. And what do you eat? Except the eggs? Do you just normal carnivore or do you just
Oh, just
everything?
usually chicken fried rice with more eggs,
Okay. Always
as
more
many
eggs.
eggs as humanly
As many
possible.
eggs as possible. Great. What activities and hobbies do you do outside of that, of your professional content creation life, if any? I don't know if you do any like Muay Thai or don't know if you
Yeah, I
like
was
you
doing
do.
Muay Thai for a while. I've stepped off Muay Thai a little bit. I'm focusing a bit
Mm,
more on the gym. I want to get a bit bigger.
okay.
Um, Honestly, I find so much joy in my work. But what I do is I top my day off usually by heading down to a bar, which is about 2 minutes from my house, and
Mm,
playing some pool with a friend. Not drinking, just playing some pool. Have a few
mm,
games of pool. I find that very fun and sort of re-energizing, and it's nice to top my day off with that.
okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
considering I live on a tropical island in Thailand, I do live a very boring life. I do the same things day in, day out. I am like very autistic like that. I just enjoy doing the same shit over and over again. And you asked me if I travel. No, I don't ever travel. I hate it. I find it so
Really?
distracting. Yeah, super distracting.
Oh, okay.
I find a place, I'm locked in, I'm on my routine, same shit every day. I am boring like that, but um I I just find it to be far more effective for moving forward.
And do you go through phases of like work hard then play hard, or you just work hard constantly?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm work hard, like
Mm,
work hard, work hard, work hard until I get like a bug in me. Sometimes I get a bug in me and I'm like, okay, I want to go out and have a dance. I do enjoy having
mm,
a dance, unironically. I like electronic music,
mm.
drum and bass, techno, I love that shit. Sometimes I'll actually get a bit of a sort of feeling of like, yeah, I want to go out and have a dance. Um, I just play it by ear, you know. And when I do
Okay.
go out, I don't get fucking mashed up or anything
Yeah.
like that. I'm up the next day, same shit next day, no
Mm,
problem. Um, but yeah, no, I don't do any like monk mode protocols or anything like that. I'm
okay.
my baseline is work hard.
Just work. Yeah, just work hard.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
again, I find so
it
much
works for
fulfillment
people.
and fun in that anyway. So you know.
Mm, okay. I just want to pivot back to your YouTube channel, and if you could just lay here your purpose with YouTube, what you're trying to achieve, what your future goals, and share in a specific way, which is your aim to positively impact the lives of others.
My mission with my YouTube channel is to genuinely try my very best to reach the guys, much like that guy on my Discord friends list with his statuses.
Mm,
My goal is to reach guys like that and to offer my hand down to them and to try and help them out of the trenches.
mm,
Because I too did my time in the trenches, and I was lucky enough to have someone offer their hand down to me, and
mm,
it would be a disgusting wasted opportunity for me to not offer the same to other people. And I think I have the secret sauce to offer to these guys to really help them out. Give them the mental tools they need to be able to get themselves out of that rut. That's my mission. However way I do that, currently it's showing up for them every day and offering them grounded advice. I think the biggest difference for me was just that slow instilling of more positive beliefs, and I think the fact that it was daily for me was a big deal. Every single day it's there, and I think I'm going to sort of pay that forward now, do the same for guys who look at me and think like, wow, I want a transformation like that. I want to be able to fucking travel to Thailand and have a beautiful girlfriend and have great friends and just be fucking happy as a man, feel fucking comfortable in my own skin, look at myself in the mirror without crying, just fucking give back to my family,
Just
have
loving
a
your
sense
life.
of purpose, yeah.
And do you see yourself go beyond YouTube?
In what sense?
In the sense of just starting I don't know, like in a community, but like off YouTube. So I don't know, like on Discord or even real life or some sort of academy, right? The same way you do for editing, but for self-improvement, or not?
I see.
Or is it something you never really thought about?
Yeah, I think I've been so caught up in just refining what my message is and who I'm trying to speak to that I've not thought too much past that. I think I've started to tackle that barrier now. I think I have like a sense of like direction now. So maybe I can start thinking about things like that. But I think a lot of my focus has been taken up on that. So
So it would be a logical step once you refined your message on YouTube.
yeah, I'd love to meet more people in real life. I mean, I meet people all the time who recognize me in public. I met a guy earlier actually. I came out of the gym and went into a restaurant over the road. He comes up to me like, "Yo, are you Sam? Is this you?" And I show him my Instagram profile, and I get that fairly often, which still is super surprising to me.
How do you feel in those moments when
Oh,
a friend comes over?
well, I'm an introverted person, so they can catch me off guard sometimes, Yeah, it's surreal. Surreal.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to have experiences like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I'll ever get used to it. We'll see.
Really?
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
guess
We'll
we'll
see.
see.
I'm
Yeah.
still I'm not used to it. I'm not used
I
to it.
was gonna say, do you think you're still in your early stages of YouTube, or I don't know how where do you position yourself on that, like on the spectrum of time? Do you think you're
I'm
the
still
beginning?
incredibly early. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, I had quite a massive impact in terms of Hamza's YouTube channel, which has reached like very good heights, and I think that's obviously I'm getting like the hit back from that. But in terms of my own YouTube channel, I've got so much work to do. So
That's good. That's good, man. Honestly, not bad. This is a nice question that's often asked, but it never stops surprising me. What would you what would you say to your 16, 17, 18-year-old self if you could? It basically goes back to what advice you would give to young men out there that want to get into self-improvement and entrepreneurship, or even YouTube. Take your time.
I don't have an answer.
Really?
I don't have an answer because there is no one answer that can help someone who is in 16-year-old Sam's position. I could say something like, "Oh, the world's there for the taking, bro," some shit like that. But the fact is, what that guy needs is someone to show up for him every single day and to fucking hold his hand almost because he's so fucking lost.
Mm.
So like having just one liner, it sounds very like romantic and like motivational sigma edit fucking Instagram reel.
Yeah.
But there's not much I could have said to him in that one interaction which would have done much for him.
Nothing
Honestly,
you wish you knew.
Hmm?
Anything you wish you knew back then? Nothing.
There's just so much.
So you wouldn't be able to wind it down to one. Is that what you're saying?
I think I could, but I don't think Sam in that stage would have been open to listening. I think many people told Sam that playing video games for 16 hours a day was bad.
Mm.
It's not necessarily like the thing that I would say to him. It's the mindset shifts that he would need to go through for him to be able to even listen. And that takes time, man.
It takes time, yeah.
Takes time.
Mm.
I could say so many, like, oh yeah, bro, delay gratification, trust me, he wouldn't have listened. He's running home and playing Minecraft.
Like, shut the fuck up, bro, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing Minecraft. He does not care. He needs someone to show up for him every single day. He needs a father figure is what he needs, honestly.
And I guess and I hope you'll be that father figure for your son, if you count on having one.
Oh mate, I count on having many sons, and
Many
yes,
sons.
I think that's a beautiful purpose in life is to provide what you didn't have yourself, you know, to your next of kin. I find a lot of power in that.
It's a beautiful perspective you've got, Sam. Honestly, you surprised me with your answer. I wasn't expecting that, because most of people, when I ask that, they just straight away go like, "Oh, buy Bitcoin or something stupid," you know.
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, I would have told him that. Good one. Unironically, that's probably one of the worst things he could have done. Because like, if he got money, he wouldn't have any fucking reason.
If he got the whole money without the hard work behind it.
Oh my god!
And all the lessons you learned, they're scary though, because there are, I wouldn't say kids, but men out there that just make money effortlessly on crypto, without going through the struggles of life and what they could have, the lessons they could have gone through, and they're just in this place now where they're just stuck. They've got this shit ton of money and they don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah, I know a fair few of them.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. They are just feathers in the wind, man. Feathers in the
wind. To go back to your sons, it's sad because there's two types of parents, right? There's the parent that is going to inflict on their kin what they suffered with their parents. Either it's beating, or if it's being strict, or not letting the kids go out. I don't know, there's variety of examples. And then there's other parents, strong men that went through the abuse or went through the hard times with their parents and gave to their kids what they never had. I'm glad you think that way, man.
Yeah, it's like everything else. Like when I went through that breakup, I could have. It's a make or break. I guess it's like a testament to someone's sort of core character as to what pathway they go down. But I will say this: like, I don't think any parent ever goes into becoming a parent thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck my kids.
Obviously, it's all unintentional. It's all how do you call it? Just unconscious, right?
Yeah, I think the problem is a lot of parents. I can't speak on this because I'm not a parent, of course. So I'm gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like a fucking. I'm gonna speak from no authority here. Okay, my thoughts. Okay.
Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of parents, they might mess up their kids because they have their kids before yet being conscious themselves. So if I had my kids before I was 22 years old and I'm not even conscious, yeah, dude, I would have fucked those kids up, man. Even though deep in my heart I am a good soul and I have a good heart, I would have fucked those kids up because I'm just not conscious enough to
That's interesting, yeah.
understand the intricacies of life and relationships and responsibility and all of this shit. It's never done on purpose. It's never
I
done
guess
on purpose.
I guess there are some psychopaths out there that do it on purpose. I hope not, but
Yes. Yeah.
you never know what
Yeah.
you
Of
can
course,
find.
there's outliers. There's always
Yeah.
outliers. Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, man, I think it's a wrap up. I think I've got a couple of last questions, and I can let you live. Go to
Yeah.
your. Did you say you got restaurants, right?
Oh yeah, I've got a steak.
Ooh.
Oh, got a steak reservation. Oh, it's so
It
good.
is with some friends.
Yes. So it's
Nice.
me and my friend, and then another guy who hit me up on Instagram. He was like, "Hey man, I see you're on Samui. You want to hang out?" That's again, I'm so fucking blessed. I'm so blessed to have like the lifestyle I have and the friends I have and these opportunities. It's just incredible. I get to meet awesome people every day. It's so good.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. I always end up these podcast episodes with advice. So if you could give advice, just any advice you could give to anyone that wants to start self-improvement and they don't know, either they don't know how or they're too scared to, start. And perhaps entrepreneurial advice for those that want to start their business or they want to start their YouTube channel. And again, that's too scared to do it or they don't know how to start.
Okay, so for self-improvement, understand first that for you to grow, you must suffer. I'm willing to bet that if you're wanting to get into self-improvement, you probably have a bunch of vices already that you are probably going to have to give up if you actually are about your pathway onto becoming a stronger person. When you give those vices up, you're met with the reality which you were escaping from, and that's going to be very painful for you, depending on how deep you've went. For me, I wanted to kill myself for 9 months straight before I started to see any sort of results from my more positive behaviors that I was starting to inhibit in my life. But for 9 months, I genuinely could not look at myself in the mirror without crying. So first, you'll suffer. Understand that. But you should see suffering as a blessing, because if you're suffering, it means you're uncomfortable and you're not happy with where you are, and that will inspire you to change. I've got a poster behind my laptop, which I'm looking at now, of Guts from the anime Berserk. I'm not really an anime guy, but Berserk has a special place in my heart because that guy is the definition of struggling. That guy has the most struggle of a life of all time. So whenever I need strength dealing with whatever bullshit I'm going through, I just think of Guts, and I think, well, he's suffered more than me, man, and that guy's fucking cool. So I could be cool too, you know. I'd say that to the self-improvement guys, and for young entrepreneurs, I would say choose one skill. One skill. Don't be a jack of all trades. What a lot of guys fall into is they see what their favorite influencers are doing and they mimic that rather than mimicking what they did at the start. You'll find that most influencers you look up to, they chose one skill and they got fucking excellent at it. And then from there, perhaps they expanded. But first, they got excellent at this one thing, and that was their base into getting into highly valuable networks of people. You know, I would say choose one skill and just become an absolute master of it. Allow it to embody you as a person. I am a video editor. I am a copywriter. I am a SEO guy, whatever the fuck you'd call it, right? Literally build it into your personality. Become absolutely masterful at it. Because you'll notice that when you're watching sports, you don't watch athletes who are a little bit good at basketball, a little bit good at golf and boxing. You watch the pinnacle of each sport. That's all people care about, being the absolute best. If you're trying to juggle multiple things, multiple skill sets, you stand no chance of being competitive in a hyper competitive market. That's what I'd say. That'd be my advice to both of those guys, and I would wish both of them good luck, and I believe in them.
Sam, where can we find you, man?
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube at The Harbonator, and on Instagram, it's just at Harbonator.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Perfect, man.
I'll upload every single day on YouTube. Every single day I'll show up giving you value. And on Instagram, you can just get little glimpses into my life, and you might find some levels of inspiration from that. And also, I do try to give you value on Instagram as well. So yeah, that's what I'd say to that.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll link everything down below. I'll also link your academy down there for those that want it, man. Thank you very much, Sam. Honestly, you're great to talk to. Absolutely love your energy. You're a great guy. You're pretty funny, as you say.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, Jared. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, honestly, and yeah, to do that again soon. You know, who knows? In a year, or even 6 months, we can do something.
I'll tell you
like
what
that
we'll do. We'll do it in person in my house with cigars. That's what we'll do.
Am I welcome?
Absolutely, but it's not if you manage it; it's when you manage it.
When? That's exactly the mindset I like. Thank you very much, Sam.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
Take care, and yeah, see you soon.
What's up, guys? I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Stay strong and see you next time.